Hello everybody, how are you doing? Now my nose is itching just as I'm starting the video. That is awesome. How are you doing? Good morning. Well, it's still technically morning. Um, New week. Oh, this is Captain's Log 007. Dun, 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 dun. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Don't look at that. That's just everything. It's chaos. My desk is completely clean and organized. I cleaned up my desk on the weekend, but you can't see it because the camera is pointing that way. So you just have to believe me. What happened? Oh, what am I going to do today? Today is writing day. I need to write a lot of things actually. So I'll better get this video out of the way and get my ass in gear and get that done. So I'll be writing pretty much all day. I plan to do a stream of my NaNoWriMo writing today. I didn't do that on the weekend, mostly because I had some, well, there's, family stuff. I worked, I had some family stuff. I just wanted to spend some time with my wife. So I just, you know, it just didn't happen. I went running. Actually, on Friday, I did the 2 hour run. I ran 14.3 kilometers with 8 kilograms of baggage. That was good. That's a record. Certainly a record with the running with rucking with equipment for me. And I actually felt quite drained. I felt okay, and then 2 hours later, like my muscles really started to hurt. So I think that's a good sign. I'm actually noticing. So I've done some weight exercises, for my arm muscles, and I'm getting arm muscles. But I've never I when I was teenager, I was relatively thin. And as it is when you're 20 or something, you can eat whatever you want, you can drink as much alcohol as you want, you don't gain weight. And then later I got like a belly, of course, and I filled up, and I've lost quite a lot of that weight. But I've never, even when I was doing sports as a kid or as a teenager, I've never really had like breast muscles, like upper body muscles. I've always been very very thin there. When I was doing sports, I was doing football, so I had quite some leg muscles, but I've never had muscles here. I'm now actually gaining those, and I think it's not so much from the boxing exercises. I think actually that weight vest, wearing that while running, is actually training my. I mean, I know it strengthens core muscles, but it's actually I'm actually getting. It's weird. I look weird. I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good exercise because you're not actually doing any. I mean, you're running. But like you're not actually. It's just like a bonus. It's pretty cool. So I did that. I cooked some a pot roast, my famous pot roast recipe. I'll put the recipe in the show notes. Show notes in under the video. This is not a podcast, fam. Um, over the weekend, it turned out really well. Um, it's a really good recipe. You should try it. You kind of need a Dutch oven for it, a cast iron Dutch oven. But if you have that, you should definitely try this recipe. On Friday, that exclusive story got published. I actually do want to. I'm working on a English version of it for my blog, so I can't put a link to that under the video, but I'll put a link to my blog, and it might. Well, I mean, no, I'm putting a link to the recipe, so that's where my blog is. So it should turn up on there as well at some point. Basically, the story I was writing about, a few weeks ago about Modern Solution, a company from Gelsenkirchen, quite local actually, who so some programmer who was working with their software found a security vulnerability and found was able to access data of 700,000 customers. So he reported it to the company. They didn't really react to it favorably, but pulled the server down. So they obviously noticed the vulnerability And then he went to a blogger and they published this story, to which they then reported him to the police. The police searched his flat and took like all of his computers and all of his stuff. And he hasn't gotten it back yet. So that's quite of a interesting reaction to somebody, basically, it's, I don't know if it's ethical disclosure or if it's coordinated disclosure, but the guy kind of did he did the right thing. He did the right thing. He told the company first. He made a little bit of a mistake by very quickly publishing it afterwards. I wouldn't have done that if he'd come to me, for example. As a whistleblower, I would have said, we're gonna have to give him some time. Even though they pulled the server down, is still the way to do it. But the guy did the right thing. And now as thanks, basically, it gets all his stuff confiscated, which is pretty bad. Anyway, we never knew that this company actually went to the police, because the police never said anything about that. I did some research, some exclusive research, and found out that it was that company. So I wrote a story about that, which is, it's just a little thing, but it's very important, I think, because there were many stories about this who were presuming it was this company. The company wasn't saying anything, at this point, as somebody, I mean, not even as a journalist, as somebody with healthy understanding of the world, you will assume that it was the company, because any company who didn't do that would immediately say, no, this wasn't us, right? Because it's just shitty PR. The only way where you really can't say that is if you did it and you're afraid it'll come out, which it eventually will, and then, So it was a safe assumption, but I still think it's good to do the journalistic legwork and actually find out. I also, found out some interesting, we got access to the basically the investigation files, and there was some interesting stuff in there. That kind of throw an interesting light on the police and how long it took them to search his flat, and that they actually searched his flat anyway. So apparently the company kind of claimed the guy was an insider. I could have only gotten at the stuff because he was an insider, and then the police was kind of, he had to disassemble code. So that's some hardcore hacking. Yeah. I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a hacker. I downloaded some software from this company that you can find on the internet freely, and then I ran a disassembler over it, which you can also get on the internet. You can get, I got some strings out of there. I'm not gonna say it was passwords, because I don't know if that's technically illegal. But I got some strings out of that software. And if I can do that, believe me, pretty much anybody can do that. I don't think I'm exceptionally smart, and I'm certainly not a hacker. And I'm not even a programmer. I'm just a guy who writes about this stuff. So that was really interesting. Anyway, I'm going to try to translate that story. It's obviously a side project because I have to do some paid work. I got a lot of things to do. I got a podcast I've recorded with Jonathan now. It's almost 2 weeks ago that I need to get out. It's lots of stuff, lots of writing to do. And I'm going to try to stream my NaNoWriMo writing today. If I can get that done, I'm going to do that today. I have a stream on, Twitch TV/Foxtrot Alpha Bravo. That's the plan for today. Is there anything else I did? I'm just trying to think that I need to mention. I watched a cool Columbo episode last night. I don't know what the English title is. I'm watching it in English, but like the DVDs are German, so the title is German. I don't know. It's some guy TV. Oh yeah, it's like this TV show Crime Watch, and the anchor. There's another guy who was supposed to be anchor who blackmails the anchor, and then the anchor murders that guy. The anchor hates cigarettes, and the other guy's a chain smoker, and he injects his cigarettes with nicotine, like with nicotine sulfate or something. And then the guy dies of nicotine poisoning, which is amazing. And then Columbo on the scene immediately, like a second into the whole thing, Columbo, it's like 30, 40 minutes until he even turns up. But then he turns up, he's like at the scene, the guy's dead on his desk. Columbo looks at the cigarettes and immediately knows he was murdered, because turns out the cigarettes, so he burned down, he put some nicotine into the cigarette, gave it to the guy, took it away again, and then after he was dead, of course, so they wouldn't find the poison, and then he had to like take some of those cigarettes away. And so he had cigarettes of the brand of the murderer, which he knew, and burnt them down and put them in the ashtray and put one in his hand. And Columbo immediately realizes that none of these cigarettes have nicotine on the filter because they've just been burnt down. It's great. There's an epic scene where there's a porn movie involved, and Columbo has to go to the porn. I mean, this is like the late 80s, so he has to go like to the porn store, and he walks down the street in his raincoat. There's like this lady, biker lady or whatever. She's like, "Hey, cutie, want to show me what's on the raincoat?" And Columbo just laughs, and he goes to the porn store, and there's a guy in front of him at the line buying, like, I don't know, porn, sex toys, who's dressed in a Columbo raincoat, but it's because he's like a fetish guy, or I don't know, it's insinuated that he's like I don't know if it's supposed to be a pedophile, or I guess somebody who likes to flash himself or whatever, and he just looks at Columbo, like admiringly at Columbo's raincoat, and kind of nods to the guy and says to Columbo, and says, "I hope we both have fun tonight," and then goes and winks at him and leaves. And Columbo's just like, "What?" It's so good. Oh man, I love Columbo. Anyway, I had some serious problems with NaNoWriMo over the last two days. Actually, on the Saturday, I couldn't make my quota, so on Sunday morning I had to get up and write my quota from Saturday, well, what was left, and then in the evening I wrote more. It's also a reason why I didn't stream it, because it wasn't really happening. Mostly because I didn't know what I was gonna write. I'm pantsing this, which means I don't know. I'm writing a scene right now. I don't know what will happen in the book. I just have a vague idea, but I don't know what will happen until I've written the scene. So sometimes I get stuck. And when you're doing nano and you have to write a certain amount, it's actually quite, that can be hard. So I was struggling. So I was watching Columbo last night. The wife fell asleep, even almost before Columbo arrives on the scene. Also, what I liked about it was like at the end of the 80s, and they had like floppy disk, like this, 3.5-inch floppies, and like, I don't know, DOS and fucking I don't know, WordStar, whatever it was, and they were writing the news stories, and like, so Columbo doesn't know how to work a computer, so he gets like a patrolman over who helps him, like working on the computer, and he's typing on the computer, and it's like a Model M keyboard. I could tell by the sound. I used to have one of those. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Anyway, I needed to watch some Columbo to get get some creative stuff in my brain, and I hope it's worked. So later on I will try to write some on stream. Anyway, this has been way too long. I'm gonna run off, do some work, and see you all tomorrow. I hope tomorrow, as usual, if I do a vlog, it's gonna be later, because I'm gonna do hosting a webinar again in the morning. ITM everybody. So see you tomorrow, I guess, or the day after, or I'll see you later in the stream, maybe. Hope you're having a good day, and a productive day, and a successful day. Goodbye.